Welcome to another episode of Golden Nuggets, Tips and Tales, powered by Property Finder. This is where we uncover the untold stories behind the region's top real estate professionals. And because there's a great story behind every lead and listing, we're shining a spotlight and going behind the scenes with Property Finder super agents, whose journeys are packed with hard-earned lessons, bold moves, and powerful takeaways you won't forget. We're back today with a tale from Ben Greenwood, who is one of the Property Finder super agents at Arabian Estates, ex-military guy, compared 2.5 months of Afghanistan to his first year of real estate, which was quite a while ago. I want to hear about a tale from you that felt like war. The listing war.
The listing war.
Can you just walk us through this listing?
I can, with great sadness, of course.
Oh, so this story doesn't come with a happy ending.
It doesn't come with a happy ending.
Well, it might do. It's still to be.
To be decided.
All right, tell us.
We'll see.
Once upon a time,
there was a broker called Ben, who was doing his very best to secure a property for a buyer that he had come into contact with, a super lovely lady, and she knew exactly what she wanted. We'd been through the whole process, and after a couple of site visits at a particular property, we had agreed to present an offer to the current owners. First offer rejected. Second offer rejected. Best and final.
Oh, we want
accepted.
Details. We want details.
31, 32, 33.
1,000, million.
Okay. 31, 32, 33. The property was on for 35 as a guide price, asking price. 31, 32, 33, best and final. Accepted. Hooray.
33 was accepted.
33.
Okay.
Congrats. Well done, everyone. Of course, the job is not yet done. So then we're just going through the process of drafting up the clauses for the contract. Cash buyer, cash seller. The funds could be readily available within 30 days.
So it should have been a pretty straightforward.
It's pretty straightforward, and 30 days is pretty straightforward. First objection was, we want the money in 7 days, not 30. When you're asking someone to move a significant amount of money within a given time frame, sometimes it can take its time, due process and whatever else.
Where was the money?
So the money was in America, but it was agreeable. We could move the money in 7 days. Absolutely fine. Great. Tick. Done. Ready to sign the contracts now. We've got some developer charges that need paying. We don't really want to pay them. What's the chance of the buyer paying them, or you paying them as the broker from your commission?
Okay, here we go.
Certainly not something that I wanted to do.
But you sound like you were prepared to do it.
Prepared? No. I think if it really came to it, was there a way that we could I contribute some? For sure. I'm not so greedy. Would it have been a possibility to contribute some? Yeah, I think perhaps. But the buyer agreed to pay them. So no need. Fine. Job done. Happy days. Ready to sign now? Contract goes out. Cancel the contract. Apparently there's some wording issues. There were no wording issues. This was a relatively large contract.
Was this a stall tactic, do you think?
Yeah, for sure. Looking back, of course. No wording issues. I'd read through the contract multiple times before sending it. I send all of my own contracts despite having plenty of admin around. But I don't understand what's the problem, Dropped a message, had a call. There's a wording issue in there. All right, let me just rerun through it, send the contract out again, rejected again. There's still a wording issue. Come on, what's going on? Sent the contract out for a third and final time. I said, there are 0 wording issues here. Everything is as we agreed. Price is as we agreed. 7 days as we agreed. The late payment charges to the developer, which are on your side, are being paid by the buyer. We're good.
Generous.
Like, yeah, we're good to go here. We're literally ready to go. Everything from the buyer side's done. She signed it for the third time on her end. Wife signs it. 24, 48 hours later, husband rejects it for third and final time. At this point, getting to the root of the problem, what's happening? I think we've decided to keep hold of it. We're getting a lot of interest from other brokers telling us that selling at 33 plus late payment charges, whatever, is probably not the right thing to do. I think we've got plenty of growth left in this product. Of course, it was important to the buyer to take it because it was going to be a family home. So, like, much more than that, I think when it comes down to it, when a seller starts playing games, really all focus switches to the buyer. You then become a full buyer's agent. How can we get this over the line? Is it possible? What can we do? At this moment, you don't deserve to have a buyer this good that is willing to do everything that you're requesting. And there was just nothing that could be done. So we cancelled the contract. Buyer found another house, and 2 weeks later, seller calls me and says, "Can we put it on the market for 45 million?" 12 million more than was agreeable 2 weeks earlier. I'm not sure what market she was looking in or what brokers were saying to her, but I mean, that's an incredible market. If you can move 12 million in 2 weeks, it's just not feasible.
Right. So I want to talk about because this appears to be the root of the original problem.
Yeah.
Is your original pricing recommendation.
Yeah.
So you went on at 35 million.
Yeah.
Based on your advice or based on their wants, needs? How did we get to 35 million at the beginning?
35 was a guide price. Let's see how close we can get.
Based on your data?
Yeah, based on previous sales, analytics, whatever else. I'd sold the last one in the community at 33.5.
How many months prior to?
Probably about 5.
5 months.
5
okay.
months.
All right.
So there hadn't been another transaction, right? So the market's it's not like these are going every single day and there's loads of data. Perhaps the market around it might have picked up, which is why we gave a little buffer, but it was more than understandable to suggest that someone would come in at the exact same price as the previous sale, which of course was communicated. I was the last person to sell there. It sold at 33.5. We can come on at 35 and try. By all means, I've got no problems trying, right? Because hey, what's the problem? We're not a million miles above market. It's okay. We're 1 million dirhams over. Like, it's fine. So we came on at 35, as agreeable by everyone, to try and get as close as we could.
And they were happy with that, or were they?
Yeah, they were.
When you agreed for 35, were they like, "Oh, can we try for 40?"
No hesitation.
Okay,
agreeable.
So all that happened, and this is something that I've heard quite a few times now on the season, is time kills deals. So in between you agreeing the sale at 33.5 and you redoing the contract 4 times, whether it was a stall tactic or not, we don't know, but there were other agents in that seller's ear, telling them,
it's worth more now than what you're selling it for. It will certainly be worth more in 6 months, a year's time. Do you have a need to sell it? Which they did. Just keep it. Why not? It's like, those things are frustrating, right? I've given so many bits of genuine advice to people who have an offer. I can understand, like, a seller will sometimes try and see if it's the right price, despite the work that the broker that is working with them and like all of the data and the analytics and whatever else, you can send everything over, but sometimes they just want to hear it from someone else. I've had multiple calls from people who've told me that they've got an offer, and I'd say 95% I've pushed and said, you should take that. It's a great offer.
So that's another behavior that people should be aware of from sellers.
Yeah.
that they will seek other people's opinions.
Yeah, of course, yeah. Which
before
is their
it's-
right, by
which
the
is their
way.
right to.
It's
But
no problem.
they're also going to seek the opinions of other real estate agents.
Yeah.
And you should act with integrity and say, I would accept that offer, even though it's not your offer.
Yeah.
But there's no point in saying, nah, you can get more, list it with me.
Yeah.
And now I assume it's still sitting on the market.
It's on the market at 45 still, not selling.
I bet you check that every Monday. See if it's still
No, there's no need to check it. It's never going to sell. It's above market.
Mhm.
There's no point in checking it.
So it's just sitting
for sure
on...
it's there. I could call them in 6 months and it will
Mm.
likely be on for 55.
Mm.
And that's okay. Like, some people do move their pricing with the market. Like, I get it. But at the time, this is where the motivation comes in. What I'm being told is that you are selling.
Yeah.
You're presenting to me that you're selling. And then I just feel like the shoe will be on the other foot one day. So if you are one of these brokers who are saying, don't sell, I can sell it for more, be prepared to actually do that. Because if you're not and you can't, then, you know, don't be surprised when they come back at you and say, like, this isn't a game, you know, this is people's hard-earned money. And if you're not providing accurate information, then, you know, when it comes down to it, I struggle with it. I don't understand how some people are so comfortable giving such poor advice.
Yeah.
Because then when the conversation comes back round, you told me you could sell it for X.
I lost a buyer.
2 weeks later, I've
Yeah.
lost someone who has sold, who has bought something else. What do I do now? What, just rack up more late payment fees with the developer in the hope that you're going to find me someone later down the line? It doesn't sit right with me. And it might be the military background. It might be a moral compass type thing, whatever. Good luck to them. That's all I can say.
It's definitely been that, you know, in the last 12, 18 months, sellers are seeing some really high numbers being achieved. The message across the board is prices are going up and so on. So it's, you know, fair play to them. They think if there's ever a time,
for sure,
it's now. But how do you manage sellers' expectations when they're thinking they can achieve above market? Because that's going to be everyone's expectation right now. Because that's the message that we're pushing to everyone right now.
Listen, it's irrelevant what I think that your property is worth, because I'm not the person that's buying it. So I could be telling you, or you could be saying to me, listen, I want 10 mil. I could be saying, I think it's worth 8. There may very well be, and there have been instances where someone somewhere has paid above market for it. If you want to try and chance it, that's okay. But realistically, we're in the business of selling properties. We're not in the business of listing them. We're in the business of selling them. We want them to be on Property Finder to sell.
Not as a catalogue.
No.
It's not an interior design.
It's not. It's not. It's on there to sell. So if you want to be featured in the catalogue, like, come in with a reasonable price and let us do our job. But if you want to try and be above market, like, good luck. Good luck. If we get someone who is in a position to pay what you're asking for, then we will request a viewing with a potential view to offer. But if you want to sell now, then this is the price recommendation. And this is just recommendation based on previous sales and what's on the market and actual data. And if you price it well enough, we can sell it for more than what you're priced at, right?
Might end up in a bidding war.
Because you could easily get, this is one of the best strategies, have it priced incredibly sharply, get 50 people through the door on a Saturday and have 4 offers on the table and try and push them all up. There's nothing wrong with that, because you may very well end up in a better position than if you're way up here. Who knows?
So coming from someone who's lost a sale and a listing to another agent who's overpromised, what's your advice to other agents that might find themselves in the same position as you were?
It's fine. Like I said, you can't sell everything that comes to market, and you have to be able to emotionally regulate yourself and keep yourself well balanced and well checked. just forget about it. Use it to help you, you know. Go
Forget
and sell the
about
next
it.
one. Like, keep the buyer
Mhm.
and find them something else. Go and find an owner who is willing to sell at the market price, and this is like a real part of your job. Go and represent your buyer as well as you can. Go and find them something else.
And you still leave the door open?
I don't really believe in burning bridges anywhere.
Mhm.
Doesn't really make sense. Why would you turn down the opportunity to make money?
Mhm.
But I think, you know, not being a complete pushover, certainly there's a couple of tough conversations to be had if you're to work together again, which is only natural, because if I was an owner and a broker brought me an offer of 33 that was agreeable plus whatever, he would be the first person I go back to when I actually find motivation again to sell. It's only natural that you would go back to that person because they're proven to bring buyers. So don't burn bridges. No, I don't think so. But just tread with a little more caution, I guess, when the next time comes around, and set your stall out like early, you know, make sure that the same thing is not going to happen again. Fool me once.
I'm gonna go and check Property Finder now and see all the listings at 45 million.
Yeah.
And try and
You
work
go
out which
find
one
it.
it is.
Go find it.
And I'll keep an eye on it every Monday for
Yeah.
the next couple of weeks, and we'll
It's
see.
Villa Beep.
Hope you enjoyed that little tale from Ben Greenwood of Arabian Estates. Catch the rest of his episodes, and while you're at it, why not binge the whole season?